manufacturing. But we take a lot of young people straight out of university and take them through a program, and we are seeking to expand this. It has been so effective, and we are seeking opportunities and partnerships to support and support young people and expand this opportunity. The second one is diaspora and international integration. There are so many people in the diaspora. You have skills, rare skills that we don't have. You are already made, you participated in things that we've not had opportunity to. And we are calling on the diaspora to participate either from where you are. These days, you don't have to be here to contribute. We have think tanks, but also if you can give us your summer holiday, you come and help people to learn to pass on some skills. I didn't mention that we are building a space industry. So some of you have those rare skills. That's the most limiting factor for me, is human capital who know what to do. And so I'm looking at the diaspora, and there are some people in the diaspora who want to come back. We're actively working with government and some international agencies to put up a program where you can come back, and the first 3 years you're supported to reintegrate and support and bring those skills so that we can work. And the last one is supporting curriculum development. Our curriculum does not support us to become self-reliant in science, technology, and innovation right from primary school. And the reviews put us in the same place. They don't take care of those pain points which will make us make science serve the economy. They put us in the same side, deeper in the same side. You are learning to read now at 6 years, 7 years, but everything you'll be reading in your life will never allow you to become an industrial scientist who can build science. Those people have to struggle after finishing. So we are working slowly to integrate this knowledge which has been omitted in our curricula. And so working one program at a time, we started working with the pharmacists. Our pharmacy training program teaches people only to dispense medicine. It doesn't teach them to make the medicine. How can we make sure that they learn how to make medicine and they have an idea so they can have those ideas? So let me close my remarks by a call to action. What am I looking for? What are we as Ugandan government, led by His Excellency, the President? We're looking for partnerships to achieve. A number of people in the diaspora are at institutions which have knowledge, have resources. You can support our curriculum review. You can support our training programs. You can bring skills. So we are looking for partnerships, R&D partnerships. We are looking for opportunities for human capital development, both here and where people can go and quickly acquire skills which we are lacking. So the Human Capital Development Program, I'm looking for partners to support, especially the rapid conversion program, taking young people from the university and TVETs, taking them through a 1-year hands-on program so that they will come out when they are ready, either to work in industry, in employment, or they are ready to set up. Actually, we graduate them with small companies. When they are going through the training, they are not going through theoretically. They're actually working to supply, to produce something which they are supplying. So if we can have support, people who are interested in supporting that would be very happy. Investment in ventures. We have an incubator where we're incubating a lot of this IT, AI, all those innovations. And venture capital, sometimes not very big tickets, but it will go a long way to support our young people. We have a program we call Investor Readiness Program, because young people are not trained to have those So they have started as an innovation. They have a startup, but it has been a startup for the past 10 years. They have been through MasterCard training, whatever, every kind of training, but they are still there. They have not started. So we pick them up and we prepare them for being investor ready. And then we have projects. We have infrastructure projects. We have agroscience parks, 4 across the nation that we are trying to put up, and we are looking for project funding. And then finally, buy our products. Buy my buses. Please, that is the best way you can support me. Offtake. With the buses, we've started a program that we call eBus Express. You can invest in a city, setting up, we now have 17 cities, you can set up own transport system in a city, and we give you the buses, and you invest in that running mass transit. Once again, I want to thank you. The opportunities I miss, and my ministry, Science, Technology, and Innovation, we are very open. We are very business-like. We don't operate, we don't have bureaucracy. So please come and let's talk business and let's talk partnership, especially for our partners from bilaterals who are here, multilaterals, please. We are looking for this support. Uganda is ready. We have already taken off, and what we need is partnerships for acceleration. Thank you very much. God bless you. For God and my country.
On the 24th November 2011, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni launched the Kira EV at Makerere University, the cradle of e-mobility innovation on the African continent, ushering a new dawn of dreamers working to drive change for the economic transformation of Africa. The Kira vehicle plant is a symbol of what can be achieved when we come together with purpose. Every nut, bolt and beam at the Kira vehicle plant represents opportunity. Opportunity for families, communities, and for a brighter, more sustainable future for Africa. It represents the opportunity to produce something we can all be proud of, a vehicle that moves people, connects lives, and drives change. The Kira vehicle plant is the largest, most capable, and most competent bus manufacturing plant on the African continent. The Kira vehicle plant's capabilities include the body shop for frame and manufacturing, the paint shop for frame, body protection and decoration, chassis line, trim and assembly shop, and quality inspection, plus testing facilities supported with a cocktail of utility infrastructure for energy, water, and waste management. This plant unlocks unprecedented opportunity for import substitution, job creation, technology transfer, and ultimately contributing towards the realization of Uganda's ambition of the tenfold growth of the economy from $50 billion to $500 billion by 2040. Established as a state enterprise in 2018, the Kira Motors investment represents Uganda's strategic endeavor to spur technological advancement, enhance environmental stewardship, create jobs, and engender international competitiveness through mobility innovation and industrialization. The goal is to position Uganda as a net source of sustainable mobility solutions in Africa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your speech and sharing this video. Those of you who haven't been to Kira Motors, I suggest you go. I've been there, and it's an amazing, amazing accomplishment. Honorable Minister, you are in exciting company. I hope that you stay in your seat, because now we're going to listen to women in technology and innovation. And these three women you're going to listen to are extremely passionate people. First one is Diana Chibuka Ninsima. Diana, by day, is a lawyer. By later in the day, she's a passionate motivator and mentor of young women. And she's also the lead for BNI that has brought together businesses in Uganda and generated so much wealth. Can I ask you to get a microphone to Diana? She wants to speak from down there. So Diana is our first panelist. And as I mentioned, each of these panelists are speaking for 5 minutes and then open it up to Q&A, which I will moderate. Over to you, Diana.
Thank you very much, Henry. Is it echoing? Good morning, distinguished guests. Good morning, Honourable Minister, Honourable Ambassadors. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. My name is Diana, as I've been introduced, and I'm a lawyer. Interestingly, I am part of a group of women under the umbrella called Girls for Girls. And Girls for Girls was born in Harvard University and then brought to Uganda. What do? We empower women and girls to lead, and the knowledge gap when it comes to leadership in spaces in Uganda is wide. And so what did this lady who went to Harvard, not myself, but our co-founder called Alena Simwe, what did she do with her colleagues? They negotiated with the professors at Harvard University, at the Kennedy School of Governance, and they were able to get material on leadership, which material is now being used across the world, but particularly in Uganda. So what do we do with this information? When you look at science and technology innovation, women are innovating. Women are in these spaces, but where is the gap? The gap is they're not taking ownership in these spaces and they're not negotiating for themselves. So that's where Girls for Girls comes in. We run a mentorship program, and in this mentorship program, we have had specific focus on women in science and technology. To date, we have run over 12 cohorts, and each of those groups have over 30 women, so 12 times 30 is a big number. We have over 300 women in science and technology mentored under this program. And what do we do there? The first thing is we focus on soft skills for leadership. And one of those skills is negotiating for self and others, and the other skill is on the art of communication. We use stories in a powerful way. Women in science and technology are not celebrated heroes. Many times, I can talk about Zuckerberg, I can talk about Bezos, I can talk about Elon Musk. I don't have another woman up there. Maybe because she's not celebrated, maybe because we're not telling those stories. And a very simple example, in Uganda, we have a lady called Catherine Namara, and Catherine was working in a telecom for over 10 years. She had been the best student in engineering. She had gone on to do her master's, was the best student, but had been at the same job, in the same job within the organization for over 10 years. And when she came to Girls for Girls and learned to negotiate for herself and learned to advance herself, she has since grown and is leading the strategic arm of business in the organization she works with. But also importantly, she was identified by the US Embassy for the International Visitor Leadership Program, to which no applications are made, but recommendations must be, you must be nominated and selected. It's very prestigious. And this is because she had her skills, she had her knowledge, but most importantly, she was able to come out and lead, not just herself, but others. What has done? We have entered into partnerships. When we look at agriculture, again, there are many women are the backbone of agriculture, but how many times do we celebrate them? And so we're in partnership with an organization called Rutico, which is being funded by an embassy in Uganda. And what are they doing? Specifically going into women businesses in agriculture and empowering them, impacting them to leverage what they already know and give them additional skills in leadership. So we come in the leadership space. We need to do more for the women intake. We need to give them more platforms. In Girls for Girls, we have a women entrepreneurship platform where we specifically address women businesses. And one of the most simple but interesting things is we've been able to give them payment gateways. Again, my friend and colleague Primera will share that. But we've been able to give them payment gateways. For many of them now, they have an e-ticket where they can actually send you a link, you make the payment, and then they can make delivery. But business compliance, but also walk into those rooms, negotiate for themselves, and take space at the table. And so that's what we're doing, and we encourage you to learn more about us and partner with us on that journey.
Diana mentioned, been working with Girls for Girls, another mentor. And just for all the speakers today, I have done all the protocol for you. So just come and you don't have to recognize.
The women are very few. In my A-level class, we're only 4 girls in a class of about 48. And we're only 4 girls. And when we came to university, I'm the only girl who came with 26 boys to do electrical engineering at Makerere, class of 72, doing electrical that year. And you have to be able to learn to be confident and to speak up, to get support, to get your work done. There can be no separation between what the boys are doing and you. The person marking doesn't even know half the time if they're marking a boy or a girl. So when I came to the workplace, I worked for MTN Uganda for the first 13 years of my life in the workplace. And one of the things that I am so grateful for is that the environment was very enabling. There was no difference in the work I was given because I was a girl, and that really supported me to be able to be in a very good environment. So for me, my life's purpose is to be able to support women in the area of STEM, because I want them to get into a space and be able to know that they can put up their head, they can encourage other women to be able to do well. The last day, yesterday, I was supporting women in software engineering particularly. And one of the reasons is that we are doing so much. Right now, the government has done a lot, let's be honest. They have done a lot in the schools to be able to encourage us to do Uganda in primary school, in high school. They are actually able to take on the subjects. The environment has gotten so much better. But now when they get into the workplace, they don't want to stay. That's another issue. They think that things are now becoming too difficult. How do I manage between family, my job, and all these things they're telling me to code? So yesterday in the morning, the whole day I had a session, and one of the problems is that I had like 3 girls who were trying to change their mind about staying in software engineering. So I got some friends of mine to fly into the country from another country that is very good with IT. And they told me, I've changed my mind. I am going to stay in STEM. And for me, that was so mind-blowing for me yesterday. And I'm like, so in our environment, we are talking about ICT, technology, STEM, but are we encouraging them to actually stay and follow through those careers that they have chosen and all the work that has been done? So as much as we are getting a lot of support to be able to take on those subjects, are we actually keeping them there in those careers? So I've had the privilege of interacting with the Uganda, and one of the areas where we have interacted with was they have a program called Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, and they take on women from every area. Doesn't matter, in my ICT space, in any single field. And some of us have benefited from being in that space because they have helped us also now, how do I create a business in the area of technology, right? So I have a company, and what we do is basically support businesses take on technology within their businesses. So right now we're talking about mission to be able to support us to be able to know, how do you structure your business? How do you support another woman to be able to build her own business, especially in the area of technology? So those are some of the things we're doing in Uganda to be able to support businesses, and with the support from Girls for Girls Forum, that's also supporting women to be able to be better at their businesses every day, you know? So what are we doing? Supporting them with technology I do a lot of work also at the US mission. Every month I sit there and offer services for free to any woman who wants to come in and be able to understand how to build their businesses in that area. So we have worked with other ladies under Girls for Girls. It has given us the freedom to be able to have that courage to step out and say, what can I do in my community? How can I support other people? So we walked up to the US mission and said, you know what, give us your space. Give us your space at the center, American Center. We're going to show up every month. We are going to support, and we have been able to do that the entire 2024. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vera. Our next speaker came home 2023, set up a business processing outsourcing company. I'd love to tell you about it, but Angela can tell us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Chitandwika Kumirizi, and I'm so glad to be here. Our story starts back in 2021, December. We had the opportunity to partner with a global company called Helpware, and we decided to come back home to Uganda and set up shop. We actually opened our doors for the first employees in February 2023. Now, what does Helpware do? Helpware is a global business process outsourcing company. So think about the diaspora people would know about companies like Amazon, Shopify, all these e-commerce companies, or maybe for Uganda it would be Glovo or Jumia. Our people in Uganda in our offices basically help customers for such companies. Let's say you have a package somewhere and it's lost or your address was wrong. They're seated in Uganda, Kampala, and they're giving advice to clients who reach out to them. Another way we provide services, we are exporting our labor from Uganda, is for non-medical transportation. We have some clients who we provide non-medical transportation services to. That means if you have, let's say you're home and you need a ride to a physician in New York, whichever city you're in, you just have to talk to our people in Kampala and we'll be able to schedule your ride, get you there, talk you through everything and get you back home safe and sound. So that's what we are doing here in Kampala. The journey has been quite interesting, and I'm proud to say that out of over 200 employees, 65% are women. So this goes to say that there's lots of women who are willing to take up all these roles. They just need the opportunity to do it. Now, what do organizations need to do? We need to provide things such as flexible scheduling, because most women are engineered, should I say, to put family, children, husbands first. So we provide flexible schedules for the women in our workplace. That means that they can choose between 3 different times to start. But we don't only do that, we provide transportation for them to get back home at the end of the shift so that they feel safe, especially as it's not safe sometimes to walk out and about in Kampala after midnight. So we make sure that we give them that, and that encourages most of our employees to stay. I'm proud to say that out of all the Helpware sites, we have the lowest attrition rate. That is, Uganda has the lowest attrition rate, and we have sites in over 16 countries around the world. The good thing about Helpware is that it allows someone to come in regardless of which degree you have, the bachelor's degree. You come in, we train you, we get you all the skills that you need to be able to be successful. And we also provide upskilling even in the roles that you're doing. I guess there's a lot that I could say about what we're doing, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela. And it's good to see His Excellency Ambassador Pope of the US Embassy joining us now. You're most welcome, Your Excellency. One thing I know that maybe many here don't know, Ambassador Pope was the first designated ambassador to Uganda who visited our embassy in Washington before reporting to Kampala. The humility of the man must be appreciated. Thank you very much. So we've been listening to women in technology. And now here I'd like to spend a few minutes for any questions you may have for Diana, Angela, and Primera. Who is my mic runner? We shall take 3 questions, and then they'll come over, and Ambassador Black.
Oh, good morning. Thank you.
Please make a note. Okay.
Honorable and His Excellency and Honorable Minister, of course, as you stated, we shouldn't have to repeat that message, but since the ambassador has just joined us, I thought I should recognize his presence here. I was very inspired by the 3 ladies. It was excellent to do that for us here, ambassadors who are living abroad. When we come home, we must learn what is going on at home. What I felt, because we have been discussing this in other quarters, how can we encourage more women in this typical man environment? But I felt that even though we do a lot now for the women themselves who are young, and you know, the last speaker, 5 out of 72 in Makerere, it must be very hard between so many men and boys to survive. So it's very important to mentor them. But what I felt was also necessary, and I don't know who of the 3 girls ladies would like to respond to that we need a mentality change. We need a mentality change, and sometimes that starts at home. The parents need to also respect the girls who have a different ambition than either becoming a nurse or a teacher or a lawyer, but that they want into a different environment because they have the skills, they have the intellect and academic presence. So that is what I wanted to find out. How can we also encourage and establish that mentality change? Thank you.
Thank you. On the mindset one, Diana, start thinking about the response. Any other questions before we respond to Ambassador Black? I think the boy child has been pushed into submission. They're all quiet now. Sorry, there is, over that end, if we could take that question.
I shall represent the boy child. Yes, my name is Innocent Menyo, and I'm a lead at MScan Uganda. At MScan, we develop portable ultrasound machines that work on laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. I'm also doing my Master of Public Health at UC Berkeley, so very, very happy that the US is giving back to people like myself. Mine goes to Diana. Is there room for startup-to-startup partnerships? Because the work you're doing, we work with midwives in low-resource settings. We train them, we upskill them in doing point-of-care ultrasound. So in case there is, room to sort of, get in these midwives, get also these other soft skills, get them out of the low-resource settings, so that they can sort of scale what you're giving to them. So I think that would be a very, very good opportunity. The other is, I'll keep it at that. The other would have gone to the
Thank you, Innocent. Okay, let Diana respond to Ambassador Black's message, or question, sorry.
Thank you so much, Henry. So when it comes to mindset, it's clearly a big one. And in Girls for Girls, that's what we seek to address, because we cover the whole sphere of leadership. And for the women in STEM, when you go down, it's the fear of failure. It's stepping out into that space, as Primera said, putting up your head and struggling, can I compete? The imposter syndrome. Our modules essentially focus on vision, courage, and skill. We emphasize that every person has a vision, and that's your vision to run with. And the courage comes in where we emphasize that you must take the small steps. It's not about, running up the mountain, it's about climbing slowly, studiously, and getting to the top. And so how does that work? We challenge them actually to go back home and have conversations. And we've seen this work in primary schools, in secondary schools, at university, and in the workplace. To go back and engage stakeholders, because that's one thing I think as women, we rarely engage our stakeholders intentionally and actively. And what does this look like? Asking for space, asking for spend in the family to advance in career, but especially asking for time. How do I create the time to be who you want me to be and achieve what I want to achieve in the STEM space? What we've seen is when women are brought together in a community and they hear the stories of other women who have gone before them, they are able to then take ownership and negotiate in the spaces that they need to negotiate in. And it's slow, but the tide is turning, because what we then do is we send each one out to go into their community and be the change, changing those mindsets. For my brother, yes, we are open to partnerships. We've partnered with both corporate and non-profits. What we do is largely about soft skill, the soft side of leadership. We cover building trust, we cover courageous leadership, art of communication, negotiating for self and others, ethics in leadership. How do you make ethical decisions and remain a values-driven, a value-based leader? And we cover serving, public service, stepping out into the community to serve. We've leveraged technology a lot. We use a lot of meeting platforms. We use, of course, recordings from the Harvard professors, which deliver the message live. We've been able to go into spaces like Kisoro and engage, Nakasongola, and we're looking for more opportunities to go into the grassroots, and we're very open. Right now, technology has allowed us to reach women as far as Karamoja. We have women in Karamoja on our program, Gulu, and of course, Western Uganda. Thank you very much, Henry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Diana, for that. I just would like to embarrass Angela. Behind Angela is her husband, Joseph. So he's doing the mindset. He pushes her forward. She kept on saying Joseph should be the one to present. So I thought I should make that comment. I want to move on to the next panel, if you allow me. And this time we're going to see the boy child or the man. Our first presenter, Francis. Francis is, I'm not even sure if it is him, because he's into robotics and AI. So I'm not sure if he's the one going to present to us. But Francis is going to speak to us for a few minutes before I invite the next speaker. Francis. We're using the same module for the gentleman as well.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Francis, and I'm an AI engineer, like introduced. My company, C Dynamics, is specializing in AI research and deployment. We are developing an AI-powered language translation platform that breaks barriers in communications. Unlike traditional language translations, we support vast local languages, including sign language for the deaf, fostering inclusivity. Now, if you would indulge me in a 2 minutes presentation, please, next slide. So the issue is, in Uganda, about 3.7% of the population are deaf. They are finding it hard to communicate and participate in social, economic, and political activities. This hinders them from employment opportunities, equal access to education, and access to financial opportunities and institutions. So the solution is, we have a platform called Togere in the local language. In English, it's Let's Talk. It's an AI-powered platform that translates from the spoken language to sign language. We are supporting, per now, over 20 local languages. The problem in the slide before, it not only affects the disabled or the deaf, but it works well in the tourism sector. We have a lot of tourists in the country that are finding it hard to interact with the local people, the languages, and move about. So it enables not only the disabled to communicate, but everyone, tourists, even the language experts, to have equal communication opportunities. Now we are competing in a global AI market of about $500 billion US. In Africa, just last year, it was estimated to be about 5.20 billion. And of untouched potential around AI, regardless that different technologies like AI have proven to, and individuals, community-based organizations like schools, banks that push services to a wider market range for the disabled. For example, for schools, a certain school A, instead of them having a sign language tutor, they rely on our platform to convey equal education. That means they can also enroll the disabled students and have equal education. When you look at media houses, you have already seen that gentleman or lady on the bottom left of the screen translating. For media houses, instead of setting up expensive studio setups and equipment to record that person, they directly call our API and whatever communication aired or streamed is translated. One of the main use cases in organizations when you look at media houses, the deaf are left out in communication. We have another use case where we plug in our platform to the radio stations so that every service or program, be it news, adverts, they are also translated real time into the local languages. One of our partners is my colleague Ivan, Microfuse. He has affordable plug-and-play computers for organizations at a very cheaper cost. So we partner with organizations like Microfuse to provide full, affordable, education-ready computer sets for education institutions and other institutions. That set comes at about a whole set, $230. It consumes low power, takes low space, but added on it all, we have our platform pre-installed over there so that disabled can always attain equal education and inclusivity. We are also partnering with some organizations like Ministry of ICT and the National Innovation Hub. They have given us minimum infrastructure to scale and train our models and operate. We are seeking for partnerships and infrastructure support to help scale our outreach to the organizations and also train our models even smarter. Thank you. That's what I had.
Thank you very much, Francis. It's now my pleasure to introduce Robert, who, when I read his profile, I wondered whether he lives in a 24-hour world, the number of things he does with Microsoft Dynamics, with the church, very big in the church as well. So, over to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning. Happy to be here and speaking to you. This morning, I will address myself to, I have looked out to the things that are outlined in what we're addressing, and I've decided to pick a focus area, identifying priority areas for investment. And the contribution to the objective for the proposals laid out there is building a mechanism for sustainable sector standards and strategically drive up the GDP contribution of the IT sector to the national economy from about 2.5%, where it stood as of last year, to probably in the range of 10%, maybe in 10 to 20 years. The focus area, build talent development, and the specific outcome that I'm rooting for is that we need to establish a national institute for IT professionals, one that would offer certifications for ICT professionals and hold them and maintain standards through continuous professional development, probably the way we see this in the accounting, engineering, insurance, where these professionals are held to standard. If you look around in Uganda today, everybody will address you in the IT sector what they are saying they are, and it becomes difficult for productivity to be ascertained. The country has done a great job in laying out a foundation for building talent, and there has been funding right from the NDP3 for human capital development. From NDP2 to NDP3, we moved from a sector focus to a thematic focus across the sectors, but with a focus. And there's been quite a number of strides going down to the grassroots. building capacity from schools. But there are still challenges, limited access to infrastructure like high-speed internet, high cost of devices, and the demand of the skills being unmatched with the available skills in the market. And the same thing goes for Africans. So we have opportunities, just keep rolling the slides. We have opportunities that we can harness as Africa. Now, there was a research done by World Bank, and it was emphasized that the determinant of economic development is human capital development. And we look at where we stand in our schools. I looked at a comparison between Uganda and India. India today the IT sector contributes about $254 billion to the economy. And in Uganda, we stand at $810 billion. The IT, million, sorry. $810 million. Oh, I think that was prophetic. We need to move to $810 billion, maybe in 10 years. And the IT sector at the moment employs about 1.3 million people in Uganda, compared to the IT sector in India that employs about 54 million people. Our budget, interestingly, the Ugandan budget, year in, year out, has been less than 1% contribution to the IT sector on the national budget. And I think that that needs to change. Although, when I compared around, I found actually, very, very interestingly, that in the current budget, the contribution is 0.46%, and also in India is 0.46%. But for India, it's $2.7 billion to the IT sector. And there have been great things. Time cannot allow me to talk about them. I'll quickly go to certification. So we do not have standards. The way it is being done right now is primarily driven by government institutions and some training institutions. You go to NITA, present your credentials, pay the fee, and you are certified. And that is not really going to provide us with the credibility that we want to get out of the certification, but rather that someone has proved themselves in an area of IT, and they are also being held to certain standards that you trusted them last year, you can trust them this year, and you can trust them next year. Across Africa, there is still a wobbling stance on the standards, and globally still there isn't a very good positioning. I did comparison with the accounting. Accounting has very stringent standards, and they hold their people on very stringent standards. And you know what? Even with IT, they have gone ahead to create something called CITP, Certified IT Professional. That's still for accountants. That you can be a certified public accountant, and then you also do a certification in IT. Okay? Now, we are sitting back. My proposal is that it's time to set up the Uganda Certified Institute of IT Professionals that will then collaborate with the global IT certifying bodies in a very coordinated way, where IT professionals will be members and they can continue to do their continuous professional development year in, year out, so that when the industry is looking for a professional in a particular field, maybe database design or software development, there is a professional available with well-certified and credible credentials. And I believe that that will take us to a level where we can compete globally and equally and be able to contribute to the economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure now to invite Professor Charles Kwesiga, the most passionate industrial researcher whose identity is his cap. Every time you see him, he's wearing a cap. That is Professor Charles.
Thank you very much. These are tough acts to follow, but I'm glad to be here. I've been waxing nostalgia ever since I stepped in this room, because everybody I see, everything I see takes me back to how, through my life's journey, starting with Washington. Well, before we were Washington, I arrived in America in, on January 17th, 1977, just in time for Jimmy Carter to be sworn in as president. And I was a student in exile. I'd had my 5 years exile in Kenya. Prior to that, I had been a means prisoner. I was on death row. And I managed to get out of there. And eventually, when I hear a name Kakonge, you know what that does to me, memories. I got into US, which qualifies me to be, whenever they say US diaspora, I've been there. I studied engineering, starting with the University of Buffalo, 1977. And 1982, I had finished my master's and coursework for a doctorate, and a company in Cleveland, Ohio, interviewed me, and not only gave me a job as an industrial engineer, but also sponsored my green card. That was August 1982. And I started my career as a practicing industrial engineer. When you talk about women in business, we share something in common. You are a minority in that field. I was a minority in all aspects of life in my stay in America. One time I remember in 1984, I had been promoted as manager of industrial engineering department, and I was responsible for organizing a merger between two companies. And when I came to the consultative meeting, as I walked in, all these people who were in the room thought I was a T-boy. And yet I was the brain behind the whole merger process. And after that, again, I got quickly promoted. By 1986, I was director of corporate performance for this company. What does that tell us? Don't lose hope, but always be alert to opportunity. And that's what I have seen and admired about what has been presented so far. Arms, please, and achieve your objectives. Quickly, by 2002, another memory. I had a meeting that would change my life again. I met His Excellency President Museveni in Ambassador's residence in Georgetown. And that's when we discussed about the prospects for my coming back. And he put a guilt trip on me. He said, fellow, you are here practicing as an engineer in a country that has already gone the moon, when your people cannot even access clean water. And so I said, okay, so yeah, give the guilt trip, all right. So eventually we agreed that I would come and try it out. And so 2005, the first assignment I got was advisor to the president on building capacity for AGOA. And after about 6 months, I said, Your Excellency, this is going nowhere. Because the market, you have gotten the market all right, but the requirements for that market you cannot meet. So what do you mean? There are three important criteria for you to access American market. They want volumes, they want quality, they want consistent timely delivery. And there's not a single product or a single agency or a single entity that can meet any of the three. And say, okay, so what are you suggesting? I'd rather do something else rather than... And that's how he sent me to go and revive an institution called Uganda Industrial Research Institute, and which I revived. I found quite a dead institution, really, with 44 people who, if we asked them, what do you do here? Say, anything that comes. I say, what has come the last 2 years or so? And they said, well, I think this is America, this is Uganda. So Ugandans are not supposed to do the right things? Anyway, so I started the job of reviving and revitalizing an institution, and 6 years later, we were recognized as a center of excellence in R&D for East African community. And I got the honors from His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta here in Munyonyo. And so, what is the winning formula? The winning formula is that we must create viable enterprises. And to create viable enterprises, we need appropriate technologies. To create viable enterprises, we need human capital. A lot has been said about human capital, especially by the previous speaker. Human capital, if you come to my what I call iconic Namanga campus, you have you can get locally trained mechanical engineers who have never had exposure to the CNC. And you say, but how relevant are you to manufacturing or to industrial production? Could as well have studied history. So human capital must be looked into and must be really, I liked the comments by the Honorable Minister on the issue of human capital. We must do better than we have been doing so far. And of course, affordable financing is critical for establishment of enterprises. So all these things we can take many days discussing. But when MC tells me 5 minutes, I say, well, if those three are in place, then we can meet the market demands. But on technology, if we get into what are the technologies that are driving change? These are fourth industrial revolution technologies. What are they? And who is training our people in use or development of these technologies? Those that are in blue, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, robotics, and 3D printing are now in place at the Namanga campus. And I'm inviting all of you, when you have an opportunity, please come and see for yourselves how things are going. But the overriding objective is to drive down the cost of these technologies or to engage in prudent technology transfer so that we can make it possible to create viable enterprises, whether run by women or men. We must address those factors, those technologies. We must train our people. We must move towards the fourth industrial revolution. It is possible, it can be done. I've seen it done, and we are indeed doing this. And so the other important thing to, besides the hope and consistent approach, that's part of our campus that we commissioned on 15th January 2020, just in time for the pandemic, and but we have weathered the storm. Those are some of the technologies that we have. The robotics laboratory and the artificial intelligence workshop, CNCs, we have those in place. And let me again give a perspective on this, on this campus. Sometime somebody who probably wished me well sent me some people from South Africa. This was not your team, Ambassador Moore. Somebody else. And he came to my facility, to our facility at Namangwe, and they said, "We are here to help you." I said, "Help me with what?" So Honorable so-and-so told us, "You need help." So let's see how, and we have done some research, so we're going to make a presentation to you on how we shall help you. I said, no, before you do that, take a tour of the campus, and then we can start from the same page. And after 1.5 hours, they came back. They said, "We never expected anything like this in sub-Saharan Africa." I said, "Yeah, but remember, you're here to help me." So, no, we're changing the script. We want to see how we can work with you. And I said, "Okay, that is refreshing." And since then, we are forging a collaboration where we are engaging in technology transfer. Talk about technology transfer. I thank you, Ambassador Moru, for what you've done for us. He has enabled us to collaborate with a South African company, and very soon we shall be manufacturing electric transformers at Namangwe campus. So, Ambassador Black, you know we go back a long way. I'm again coming to Brussels one of these days. But all in all, I thank you, Americans, for making me what I've become. Because to come from Mutukura prison, where Amin had thrown me, come from death row in Mutukura, come out of there, get through all the motions. At 20 years old, I was a young person in the office of the president. At 21 years old, I was still working in the office of the president. At 22, I was in prison. At 23, I was in exile. And all that but getting in America has really enabled me to make meaning out of life and become a successful professional. And my children also have had very good opportunity because they have followed the philosophy that I've just been talking about. Be alert to opportunity and always work hard when the opportunity comes. And now my daughter is a professor at the University in Prudence, Rhode Island. My youngest daughter is a deputy principal of a school in Baltimore, Maryland. My son is assistant general manager of the Five Iron Golf Resort in Ohio. So you can see why I'm wearing the Cleveland Browns, all right? And my other daughter is a public health consultant. All that could only happen because the environment that I lived in and the achievements that I acquired out of that. B, never lose hope. Work hard at every opportunity and you will be able to make it, whether you are a woman or a man. I thank you very much for listening to me.
If ever you are looking for a testimony on collaboration, that was it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just, one of the privileges of my position is I can change the program. I'd like to invite Ambassador Pope to address us and kindly use the rostrum up there. This is a slight change to the program. And then we shall have the discussion after that. Thank you.
Good morning.